This is Dr.RED Panda.
Did you know that many of Japan's fiercest samurai were actually in same-sex relationships? Why was male-male love not only accepted but even celebrated among warriors? Were these bonds romantic, strategic, or something in between? Today, we dive into a world where swords, honor, and love between men all went hand in hand. Hi everyone, I'm Dr.RED Panda, and today we're exploring the surprising love lives of Japan's warrior elite. The earliest recorded same-sex love in Japan. The earliest recorded mention of homosexuality in Japan appears in the Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan, a historical text compiled in 720 AD. It recounts an ancient legend involving two male Shinto priests, Kotake no Hafuri and Amano no Hafuri, who were exceptionally close companions. When Kotake no Hafuri passed away, Amano no Hafuri was devastated. Shedding tears of blood, he declared, "In life, we were soulmates. In death, we shall share the same grave." He then lay down beside his friend's corpse and took his own life. The two were buried together. Strangely, after their joint burial, unusual celestial phenomena began to occur. Daylight turned as dark as night. Some believed that this was a reaction from the heavens, stirred by the sin the pair had committed. The authorities subsequently ordered the grave to be exhumed, and the two were reburied separately. Immediately, the sun shone again and the natural order was restored. At first glance, this may seem like a tragic tale of profound friendship. However, the story's emphasis on natural disasters following their joint burial and the use of the word sin to describe their relationship strongly suggests that their bond went beyond friendship. It implies a same-sex romance that defied societal norms and was difficult for the time to accept. During the Heian period, Japanese society was actually quite open-minded about sexuality. For instance, the tale of Genji vividly portrays the romantic escapades of Hikaru Genji with various women, detailing even the more intimate moments without reservation. However, when it comes to male love, the treatment is noticeably more discreet. The only implied instance appears when Genji fails to win over Utsusimi and instead turns to her younger brother, Kojimi, to spend the night with. Genji even tells him, "You're quite charming, but since you're her brother, I fear I won't be able to take care of you for long." Naturally, Kojimi is deeply hurt by this. This story reveals a telling detail. While male-male relationships did exist among the aristocracy of the time, they remained very much under wraps and could not be openly discussed. In contrast, within monastic circles, male love had long been an open secret. To avoid violating their vows regarding relations with women, many high-ranking monks took young male acolytes as sexual companions, especially within the context of senior-junior monk relationships. Legend has it that the revered monk Kukai brought the custom of Nanchoku, male-male love, back from China while studying esoteric Buddhism. Whether this claim is historically accurate remains a matter of debate. Many believe it was embellished by later generations. Nonetheless, the story itself suggests that male love first gained cultural traction within Buddhist temples. Eventually, this cultural trend spread from the temples to the aristocratic circles, where it even came to be seen as a mark of sophistication and refinement. Later on, it made its way from the nobility into the samurai class. From the late Muromachi period through the Tokugawa shogunate, Japanese warriors began to intertwine male-male love with the ideals of Bushido, the way of the warrior. This gave rise to a unique term, Shudō, literally the way of the youth or the way of men. It symbolized the loyalty, emotional bonds, and even romantic ties between men, particularly between an older samurai and a younger male companion. Samurai who loved male companionship. During the Muromachi period, Japan experienced the Nanbokucho era, marked by a division between the northern and southern courts. Warfare during this time became more prolonged and geographically widespread than in previous periods. As women could not easily remain by the side of samurai for extended periods, male-male relationships, known as Nanchoku, flourished and took on a protective role for higher-ranking samurai. Additionally, The Muromachi elite were deeply enamored with Tang Chinese culture, particularly the third shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, who was passionate about the arts and strongly supported their development. The no-theater master Zimi, renowned for his striking beauty, gained Yoshimitsu's favor at the age of 12. With Yoshimitsu's support, Zimi established a no-theater troupe and authored the influential treatise Fushikaden. The sixth shogun, Ashikaga Yoshinori, and the eighth shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimasa, also favored male companions. Yoshimasa is known to have gifted a precious sword to a favored young page. By the mid-15th century, Japan entered the Warring States period, characterized by incessant warfare and widespread turmoil. In this tumultuous environment, Nanchoku gradually lost its symbolic association with status and became more of a practical necessity. The kosho, young pages, who served high-ranking samurai, were not only responsible for their master's daily needs and sexual desires, but also acted as their final line of defense. On one hand, these pages, favored by their masters, were typically more loyal than others and unlikely to betray them. On the other hand, they were prepared to protect their master and sacrifice their lives in moments of crisis. In this sense, the role of the kosho differed significantly from the earlier Chigo relationships, pederasty, prevalent among court nobles. For example, Yasuji Munkige's page, Yasuji Naoi, was a notorious assassin who killed an enemy warlord while sharing his bed. Mori Ranmaru, employed as a page by Oda Nobunaga from childhood, died alongside him at the Hanoji incident at age 17. Ishida Mitsunari, taken in as a page by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, rose to a key position by age 25 and was later captured and executed after the Battle of Sekigahara. After the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate, the Nanshoku tradition inherited from the Warring States period did not fade, but was rationalized and elevated to a way-do, becoming a complement to the samurai code of Bushido, centered on loyalty and righteousness. Thus, in this context, I refer to the male-male relationships or so-called pederasty within samurai society as Shudō, the way of young men. As society stabilized, Shudō spread to the commoner class, becoming a widespread social custom. Ahara Saikaku even remarked, "A young man without an older male partner is like a maiden without a suitor." However, I argue that Nanshoku among non-samurai classes, lacking the loyalty, righteousness, and other norms of Bushido, does not truly embody the essence or significance of Shudō. What is Shudō? First, it is important to clarify that Shudō is not necessarily the same as modern-day homosexuality. While genuine love between two individuals may exist, generally speaking, it is a product of cultural meaning, a practice that follows and upholds cultural traditions and customs. Bushido emphasizes loyalty, and the core principle of Shudō is also loyalty. The latter is derived from the former. However, while Bushido's loyalty is directed toward one's lord, Shudō's loyalty is toward one's sworn brothers. In Hagakure, it is written, "Do not be like a wild cat in heat, rushing to mount anyone who catches your eye. You must observe for at least 5 years before confessing your affection. Once mutual feelings arise, you must swear, like a devoted woman, never to change your brother." Here, brother refers to the brothers in arms, in a sworn brotherhood. Why is it that one must swear never to change their brother? In modern Japanese culture, an older brother holds absolute authority. For example, he can call his younger siblings by their names, while they must address him with respectful titles. In this sense, the brother in Shudō is likely both the male partner in the sexual relationship and the superior in the social hierarchy. This shows that Shudō is a way to maintain identity and social rank through cultural meaning. In ancient Greece, there was a sacred band, composed entirely of pairs of male lovers. The reason for its establishment was the belief that love could inspire courage in soldiers. Shudō shares a similar aspect, although what it inspires is not necessarily romantic love, but the loyalty and responsibility toward love itself. Nevertheless, it can foster courage and enhance fighting spirit to some extent. Homosexual love born out of war. After Japan entered the samurai era and before the Tokugawa shogunate, the country was in almost constant warfare, with brief periods of peace often filled with endless intrigue and deadly plots. The wars also caused widespread distrust of women. During this time, women in samurai families occupied a precarious position. In the medieval and early modern periods, daughters were treated as commodities, used to exchange political power and economic advantages. This practice continued, especially in the latter half of the 16th century, when feudal lords competed fiercely for military control of the country. Marrying daughters into other samurai families was a way to form military agreements and alliances between clans. Another political or military strategy was to send daughters or other women as hostages to rival families. Women married into other families generally did not earn their husband's trust. After all, the husband's family had to be wary, whether the woman might steal secrets or inadvertently reveal damaging information to her birth family, risking serious consequences. A typical example is Tokugawa Ieyasu's eldest son, Nobuyasu. Nobuyasu's wife was Tokuheim, the daughter of Oda Nobunaga. The relationship between Tokuheim and Nobuyasu's mother was strained, and a family letter was reported to Oda Nobunaga. Using this as a pretext, Nobunaga ordered Nobuyasu to commit seppuku. Before his death, Tokugawa Ieyasu strictly forbade any women from approaching his sickbed, reportedly due to this traumatic incident. In contrast, forming sworn brotherhoods, known as allied brothers, helped avoid such problems. Shudō emphasized loyalty to the brother, prioritizing the sworn brother bond above all else. For example, Maeda Toshitsune once ordered that none of his retainers or servants were to commit junshur, following their lord in death. Yet after his death, 5 retainers still committed seppuku out of unquestionable loyalty. Edakichi Saburozuman also said, "Sacrificing one's life is the essence of Shudō. Otherwise, it is shameful." War necessities shaped these customs. On one hand, as mentioned earlier, the hardships and dangers of the battlefield made it unsuitable for women to accompany samurai. Lower-ranked samurai often became the best recipients of the desires and emotional needs of their superiors. On the other hand, it was also about protecting the higher-ranking samurai. Night raids during war were common, and having skilled warriors by one side was much safer than fighting alone. Belittled and discriminated women. After the establishment of the samurai government, the status of women, especially those in the samurai class, declined significantly. Although as early as 1232, the Kamakura shogunate issued the Gozaibai Shikamoku legal code, stating that women had the right to inherit and transfer land and could retain maternal authority over their children after their husband's death. These seemingly equal provisions were actually a step backward compared to earlier times. Before the samurai government was established, Japan had a period lasting nearly 200 years during which 6 empresses ruled alternately. However, from the establishment of the shogunate until the Meiji Restoration, almost 700 years, only 2 empresses ascended the throne. This clearly shows that women's status was being steadily eroded. As women's status declined, men began imposing various restrictions on them. Women became tools for childbirth, relegated solely to household duties and barred from political involvement. Against this backdrop, many men felt they could neither connect with nor emotionally resonate with women. As a result, they preferred to seek comfort and understanding among men who shared their education and worldview. On the other hand, gender roles were strictly divided at the time. Husbands sought entertainment outside the home, and wives generally did not interfere. Some wives even thoughtfully prepared clothes and gifts to ensure their husbands could leave for dates without worry. Compared to a concubine who might threaten a wife's position, many wives preferred their husbands to have male companions, men who could never enter the household or gain status. This contributed to Shudō and male-male erotic culture becoming a socially accepted norm. The rise of Shudō was built upon a strict samurai hierarchical system. However, as the samurai class declined, impoverished samurai had to shave their heads early and start families, and Shudō gradually disappeared. When the samurai system was completely abolished during the Meiji era, this culture of male-male relationships also faded into history. What seemed like tolerance in Shudō actually existed only within a closed, idealized, male-centered world. So, was this truly a form of freedom? Or was it just another kind of restriction under a patriarchal society? Feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. And that's a wrap for this episode of the video. I'm DR.RED Panda. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.